my name is Kate Mall, and I read the poem True Autumn by Shonda Feldman. This poem is about her reminiscing on her childhood and the traditions that arose during autumn with her family. She opens the poem by using imagery to explain her childhood home, where she says, I returned to the dead-end street where I grew up, at the edge of the county, at the foot of lavish green hills with dogwood and magnolia plotted medians. She uses imagery here to showcase this positive impact that her childhood home had on her. We can see that she found it beautiful, relaxing, comforting. She dives deeper into her childhood by explaining the tradition that arose around autumn time, where her mom would take 4 gallons of chitlins out of the deep freeze, and her family would feast upon it during autumn. They would sit around the dinner table, eat the chitlins, and talk about their ancestors and spirits. She describes the chitlins and the feeling that it gave her with imagery, saying, I love the slurp of entrails entering my throat, using taste and sensations to describe how it made her feel. So she obviously enjoyed eating the chitlins. And she also described the smell of chitlins as a sweet stench. So she enjoyed eating it, she enjoyed smelling it, she enjoyed this tradition with her family. Although this can be seen as a story of just simple tradition, there is a deeper theme to the story, which can be noted as shame, envy, and nostalgia. This nostalgia part coming from reflecting on her childhood, all these positive memories, but also shame and guilt when it comes to eating the chitlins itself. She then follows by saying, each time the house filled with their sweet stench, I'd cover my nose, my mother always scolding. And she said, some people never eat like this. She also says, but I never forgot my white neighborhood friends' tables set with bowls of lobster bisque and baguette slices, contained, not all food juice, mixing on the plate. We can see here that she kind of has a sense of shame and kind of almost disgust in her tradition. This shows that she is the only Black person in her neighborhood, and the people in the white families in her neighborhood partake in a different family tradition around autumn time. So eating soups, eating kind of high-end, higher quality soups, possibly discussing different things at the dinner table, whereas her family, they eat chitlins and discuss ancestors and spirits, and she's kind of envious of not having this tradition or lifestyle that people in her neighborhood had. She said, I would crave no barrier between me and other families. This shows that this is another sense of shame and envy. But it's not so much of a negative story, because it provides positive and delightful experiences. Again, the taste, the smell of the food, the beauty of her childhood home, but reminiscing on this feeling of being left out, being shameful of what she loved and she got to experience compared to what other people loved and got to experience. She almost wanted to feel more involved in what other people were experiencing and doing with their families. She yearns for a sense of relativity to her life and the other people that she grew up with in her neighborhood. So she's envious of these white families in her neighborhood, and she feels set apart from the rest. Shonda Feldman does a beautiful job at using imagery to dive deeper into the meaning of the story, giving sensations, taste, smell. It brightens up the story and makes it more lively for the reader. I would recommend this poem to anyone. I was moved by it. I believe that in this generation, we compare our lives a lot to other people around us, and I think this is a good story for people who feel like they compare their lives to other people, and just I think it's eye-opening on other people's traditions, cultures, experiences. We're all just human. We all feel left out sometimes, or we wish we could have something. We always want something more than what we have, and I think that the poem itself was really beautiful and captivated on the sense of shame and envy, which I believe a lot of people experience, but also the positive impact that nostalgia can have and the beauty of it. And I think it just allows everybody to be more mindful on their experiences and other people's experiences.